Should we? While we're waiting, do you want hear my Cockney medley? You wonder what I was going to say then. I've been keeping it secret. All right. See if you can join in. All right. How does it go? Pack up your troubles.
Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag.
Shove off your willy with the carving knife and smile, smile, smile. If you're embarking on a whole new life, go that extra mile. We know why you're keeping it. You ought to kind of file. Shove off your willy with the carving knife and smile, smile, smile. It's a hard job to hide your penis. It's a hard job, you know. It's a hard job to hide your penis, so it doesn't show. Goodbye, Adam Apple. Farewell, manly chin. But it's a hard job to hide your penis. Just tuck it right in. Consider yourself female. Consider yourself ever so feminine. We know there's some pervs out there. Who cares? Where? Just gonna flick your hair. Consider yourself out, mate. We ain't gonna make no fuss. You can shout at all the women on the women's march. Consider yourself one of us. My old man said he was a tramp, and we're gonna have to call him Jack. I went with him to the gender clinic. They blinded me with science, but there's nothing in it. Now he frillies and dollies, and he frillies. I wish he'd find some undies of his own. But you can't find your knickers and your bras go missing with a tranny in your home. One more. Who remembers the good old days? You've got to do this after. Come and delude yourself down at the gender clinic. We will help you abuse yourself down at the gender clinic. We'll pretend you're not a man. Just give us several grand, dear. Do. Come and have a snip or two down at the gender clinic. Snip.
Carving. No.
Shove off your willy with the carving knife and smile, smile, smile. If you're embarking on a whole new life, go that extra mile. We know why you're keeping it. You want to kind of file. Shove off your willy with the carving knife and smile, smile, smile. It's a hard job to hide your penis. It's a hard job, you know. It's a hard job to hide your penis, so it doesn't show. Goodbye. Goodbye, Adam Apple. Farewell, manly chin. But it's a hard job to hide your penis, so tuck it right in. Consider yourself female. Consider yourself as a feminine. We know there's some turfs out there. Who cares? We're just gonna flick your hair. Consider yourself out, mate. We ain't gonna make no fuss. You can shout at all the women on the women's march. Consider yourself one of us.
Does anyone know where we are going? Don't say it. No, but why are we racing? We don't know.
They're trying to make sure that the track because the rest of them went somewhere else.
Must have, yeah. Well, I think we went to.
We're moving now.
Don't know.
We're going to the end of the street, we're turning left, and we're going to the
Now.
cars are down there, we're on the other side of the road, a little bit further away, the noise is not overwhelming. I'm saying let's go.
No, Whitefoot wasn't Andy. Whitefoot was Joe Blue.
Ah, sorry, right, yeah.
1 year later, fighting for our rights. 1 year later,
Right, we're on the move again.
until we get justice, we won't give up on silence. 1 year later, fighting for our rights. 1 month later, fighting for our rights. 1 month later, fighting for our rights. Till we get justice, we won't give up the fight. 1 month later, fighting for our rights. 2 months
I think she's happy with it.
fighting for
Oh,
our
no,
rights.
oh, no. Good. Very well. Everything you're saying is going out to the world on live stream.
Do you want to start us off again, though, Ken?
Oh, she's not really involved with these.
She'll be taking back her spaces when she comes. She'll be taking back her spaces when she comes. She'll be taking back her spaces. Taking back her spaces. Taking back her spaces when she comes. Singing Bridget Phillipson, do your job. Singing Bridget Phillipson, do your job. Singing Bridget Phillipson, Bridget Phillipson, Bridget Phillipson, do your job.
First, for those who aren't aware, this is Whitehall, where the beating heart of where we won the war, coming up to Downing Street, going past the war rooms, where Lady Diana was taken down all those years ago. So have they taken over where we would normally be? No, they're not. They're across the road. Oh, okay. Which is why I behind the wall?
She'll be taking back her toilets when she comes. She'll be taking back her toilets when she comes. She'll be taking back her toilets. Taking back her toilets. Taking back her toilets when she comes. Singing EHRC, do your job. Singing EHRC, do your job.
Come on, you individual. Get in the crowd. Don't worry, I'll get there. Get in the crowd. You're all individuals. You're all going the same way.
Yes, it's Mary.
You never know. Absolutely.
Together again.
Alison, bring it up, Maria.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
I've heard the rumours. there soon.
We're women, we have to look after other people. Oh,
Want everyone really loud now? Tick tock! Tick tock! Tick tock! Tick tock! Round and round! Tick tock! Tick tock! Tick tock! Tick tock! Raise the town! I have a dream! I have a nightmare! I have a dream! Go, off your window. Gonna wash those men right out of my
It's just there.
head. Gonna wash those men right out of my head.
Yes.
Gonna wash those men right out of my head. Sing along. Oh, you have to sing it because that's what it is.
Let's go see what they're doing, shall we? Let's go see what they're doing. Human zoo. The human zoo. Fanning around trying to get the flag. Hang on. Oh, there it is. There it is. So that's actually Downing Street for those who aren't familiar with London. And this apparently is what community looks like, which is a little worrying. Whenever you're ready, you know, take your time. Liberation. They're living in their own little world. Here we go. Right, well, I don't think they're going to get any more interesting, so we'll go back to our lot. He will always be our guy. This is how the things he's a man. He's a man. just fanning around with their tripods.
Shall I just put this down by the statue? Oh no, I suppose I'll need it, won't I?
Well, no, I think we've got a PA, isn't it?
Oh yeah. So shall I just put this down down with all the stuff down there?
Is you finished with it?
I think so.
Because if not, can you give it to Claire? She's there with the curly hair. Claire. Right, so the speeches are going to start happening soon. Bad Penny. Hello, hello.
How are you?
Oh, all the better for being here.
You know the mic. Amazingly, we were setting up this stuff. Me and Ray's no idea what we're doing. This guy just said, actually, I'm an audio engineer. But he lifted it up and everything, and he tested it the whole lot. I was like,
See, just wait.
yeah,
In those situations, I also can say thanks, Bob.
yeah. Hashem.
I'm back.
And then we're going to test. So we're going to test if this is working. How? I don't know. Maybe we can see if people can hear. Can you hear this? Can anybody hear it further at the back? No. I think people at the back. Maybe we should get them to come round to there, like over there. Yeah. If the people at the back go around to over there, that way, then you might be able to hear a bit more. And can we turn it up anymore? Is it possible to turn it up? Let's try and turn it up and then come forward if you can't hear. And we can't go through it, can we? Because we're going to get backlash.
Mary, I'm going to keep it with me in case we need it. Okay, yeah.
That's as loud as we're going to be able to get it. If you can't hear, move along the sides. The other possibility is that if you go to the Grassroots account, we are live streaming. If you really can't hear, you can walk further away and listen to the live stream.
I don't know if you actually want that man's crutch, do we? I've got him visually framed on this crutch.
Huh?
On this crutch. I don't think we want that as a backdrop, really. No, no, it's all the usual fanning around, getting everything working.
There we go. Fabulous. There we go. We are good. Oh, does that mean Baroness Davis is here?
Could all the speakers please come over to Judith? Can we have all the speakers coming over to Judith over here, please? Speakers, over here! Now, leave the speakers alone, you can talk to them later. We need them over here. Stephanie, Tracy, where are you all? Jamie. Yes, we have Jamie. We have Jamie, we have Stephanie, we have Maya, we have Tracy. William, we have Tracy.
In which case, not a quantum. Sorry, I'm just tabloid. I don't sorry, tabloid that she's just been from the other side.
Because I'll be doing a live stream, so I can't keep
It's more stable. Do you want to sit there? Right, can everyone clear the decks, please?
So these are all the lineup of speakers.
Good afternoon, women! And good afternoon, also biological males. Good afternoon, everyone. What a fabulous day! The sun shines on the righteous. Well, it also shines on the less righteous. It isn't always bliss in this dawn to be alive, but looking at you all, to misquote a certain romantic poet, it is very heaven. Really, well done on turning out. Well done on all your beautiful singing. Well done on putting up with mine. And well done, everyone, for standing up when so few of us do, for taking a stance. I know that behind every single face here is a story of courage, of loss, of ostracism, of really being tested. And I feel we've got some fantastic speakers here, but I know that any single woman or man here could equally do a fantastic job of telling their story. So well done, everyone. It is wonderful and extraordinary that today across this country we have sister marches and events all taking a stand together for women's rights. So let's have a cheer in Manchester, in Houghton-le-Spring, in Edinburgh, in Plymouth, in Cardiff, in Belfast, and across the sea in Berlin, in Dusseldorf, in Vienna, in Paris, and here in London, we are all standing together. Because this Thursday marks 1 year since the Supreme Court ruling, when the highest court in our land unanimously agreed what is, to the rest of us, totally patently obvious, that when we say sex, we mean biological sex, as if there's any other well, there is another kind, but we're not talking about that. And when we say woman, we mean biological woman, because there is no other kind. And we can't start our speeches today without a moment of acknowledgement, thanks, and gratitude for those absolute wonderful women of For Women Scotland. I hope they're gonna see this at some point. Trina Badge, Marion Calder, Susan Smith, and never forgetting the original founder member,
Yes.
Magdalene Burns. I think Magdalene is the reason the sun is shining on us today.
Yeah.
So it is my absolute honour and privilege to introduce some stellar speakers this afternoon. And we're going to start off with a woman who can bring, perhaps more than anyone, a truly international perspective to our proceedings today. Jo Brew is the coordinator of Women's Declaration International. Some of you may have watched, probably a lot of us, watched those wonderful webinars bringing us dispatches from all over the world about what is happening to women's rights. And she also
produces those fantastic Sunday morning seminars, Radical Feminist Perspective, which I heartily recommend to all of you. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over. Can we all give a big hand for Jo Brew? Thank you very much. I'm speaking on behalf of Women's Declaration International. We've got 40,000 signatories from 552 organisations from 160 countries worldwide who agree basically with everything we're doing. They're thrilled about the UK Supreme Court ruling. And our job at WDI is to spread the message from our turf islands to encourage women all over the world and men to replicate what we've done here. And unfortunately, I'm going to bring the message, the news of what's happening globally, which is not good, ungood. So governments worldwide have adopted self-ID. In Europe, Germany, Ireland, Malta, Portugal, Spain, Denmark, Norway, Iceland, Belgium, Finland and Switzerland have self-ID. In the Americas, Uruguay, Colombia, Brazil, Chile, Canada and Costa Rica have self-ID. Elsewhere, New Zealand, Pakistan and Nepal have self-ID. In Japan, Turkey, Iran, South Korea, China and the UAE, they allow gender marker change after surgery or medical diagnosis. Very conservative countries, mostly in Africa, don't recognize gender identity at all, but they also have harsh anti-LGB laws, and they have strict male-female spaces and oppress women that way. Worst in the world is Afghanistan, where women are kept out of public spaces, education, jobs, and segregated in homes. As we know, Afghan women cannot self-ID out of this oppression. Gender as a sex role is the conservative way, as in Afghanistan and much of Africa, to oppress women. Gender identity is the progressive method. We don't want either of those forms of gender. Supranational bodies and NGOs support self-ID. The European Union has put gender identity and self-ID without age restrictions at the centre of its new LGBTIQ+ equality strategy. They want to ban so-called conversion practices and include hate speech and hate crime motivated by gender identity in the list of Euro crimes. The EU went to the United Nations last month to the Commission on the Status of Women to promote these ideas. The World Health Organization supports self-ID, and they say gender identity is a health problem, a health issue, and should be treated with compassion. NGOs such as Amnesty, Save the Children, or Oxfam support self-ID as a human right. So, internationally, people involved in our network, and many of us are linked up internationally, they see Turf Island's Supreme Court ruling as an important step in re-establishing sex over gender. UK is currently an anomaly. We are progressive as regards LGB and women's rights, and we are sex realist as regards single-sex protections. We are in the Goldilocks zone. We're the only ones, or pretty much the only ones, who've got both things right. We're progressive and sex realist. And I really want to say thank you. I get thanked so often by our 40,000 signatories all over the world for doing what we do on Turf Island. Our organisation, Women's Declaration International, has always aimed simply to be an international network and to spread the brilliant stuff that we all are doing here and you all are doing internationally to give them hope and to give everybody hope. So thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jo. Well, I know as women we sometimes feel a bit ignored by politicians, but I'm absolutely thrilled, gobsmacked and delighted to welcome our next speaker, Bridget Phillipson, Minister for Women and Equalities. Can we all hear it for Bridget? Just a minute, sorry.
Bridget! Should we summon her? Everyone sing a little song. Maybe we'll do a little. Bridget Phillipson, please appear. Saying, Bridget Phillipson, are you near? Saying, Bridget Phillipson, Bridget Phillipson, Bridget Phillipson, please appear.
Yes.
Carry on, right, okay. We'll do a quick little why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? Why are we waiting for Bridget? Why are we waiting? I'm going to keep singing like this until she goes, why are we waiting? Oh, why are we waiting? Oh, why are we waiting? Oh, why are we waiting for Bridget? All right, I've got to ad-lib a bit more. All right. Singing Bridget Phillipson, please appear. Bridget Phillipson, are you near? Singing Bridget. Singing Bridget Phillipson, are you near? Singing Bridget Phillipson, please appear. Singing Bridget Phillipson, Bridget Phillipson, Bridget Phillipson, are you near? Is that enough? Why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? Why are we waiting for Bridget? Why are we waiting? You're prevaricating. Oh, why are we waiting? Why are we waiting? Oh, why are we waiting for Bridget? And your guidance while we're at it. Not that we need it because it's totally obvious. Right, are we ready yet? Come on, Bridget. There's a little surprise prepared for you. That's why I'm just doing this little filling. That's why I'm doing this. Shall I do a quick chop off your willy song while we're chop off your willy with the carving knife and smile, smile, smile. If you're embarking on a whole new life, go that extra mile. We know why you're keeping it. You ought to kind of far. Just chop off your willy with the carving knife and smile, smile, smile. Cause it's a hard job. Oh, see, I knew they'd do it. They want me to. Okay, you ready? Yeah? It's a hard job to hide your penis. It's a hard job, you know. It's a hard job to hide your penis. When you know it doesn't show. Goodbye, Adam's apples. Farewell and leave you. But it's a hard job to hide your penis. Tuck it right in. Woo! Consider yourself female.
Once upon a time.
No. Julia, do you want to get the megaphone? She's fanning with. Want to get the megaphone? Just no, for you.
It doesn't sound like it's going to be very loud.
She's unplugged it.
Once upon a time, in a land not so very far away, Millicent the dinosaur was out for her morning walk. It was a bright, cold day in April 2025, and the clocks were striking 13 as she strolled down the high street. As Millicent walked past the newsagents, she was delighted to see the Supreme Court had confirmed that, for the purposes of the Equality Act, a woman is a biological woman. No more men in women's prisons, no more blokes in the ladies' loo. Finally, women and girls would have their single-sex spaces back. Millicent was very happy to see that common sense had prevailed and trusted that her government would take appropriate action. But the people in power did absolutely nothing. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. Wes Streeting, Minister for Health and Social Care, promised to issue new guidance within weeks of the ruling. But he did nothing then, and he's done nothing now. Bridget Phillipson, Minister for Women and Equalities, insisted that the ruling was crystal clear, but she did nothing to protect single-sex spaces then, and she's done nothing now. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. It was as if nothing had changed at all. So Millicent waited and waited, hoping normal cervix would be resumed soon. 6 months quickly passed, and it was time for Millicent to lay an egg. Millicent was really happy with her egg, but not so happy with her government. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. Full year after the Supreme Court ruling, and the government had done nothing. But Millicent's egg was ready to hatch. Yay! There was a great cracking sound. And out of the egg popped up a baby dinosaur. Where's my birthing parent? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dino. Happy birthday to you. But wait, what's that? Still inside the egg. It's a banner. Hooray! And what does the banner say? Still we roar. Still we roar. Still we roar. Still we roar.
Bravo!
Hello, hello. Woo! Wow! Brought back from extinction!
distinction. What miracle can we not achieve? Isn't that absolutely fantastic? Let's hear it again. What a wonderful drama. I don't know what to call it. Amazing. So, our next speaker needs very little introduction. Stephanie Davis Arai is a... Oh, right. She's the founder of Transgender Trend.
Thank you for Women Scotland. We celebrate you today. I'm going to talk about the new updated safeguarding guidance out for schools under consultation now. Keeping children safe in education is supposed to uphold the highest standards of safeguarding in schools and to inform schools of their statutory duty to uphold these standards. The updated guidance talks the talk. It includes more references to misogyny and its relation to sexual violence to show that they care. But in school policies, it still allows misogyny and puts girls at risk. The section on the Equality Act in the draft guidance fails to refer to the Supreme Court ruling, and it's not mentioned anywhere in the updated guidance. It looks good. There's clarification that single-sex toilets, changing rooms, and residential accommodation must only admit pupils of that sex with no exceptions. But it also allows schools to also have mixed-sex toilets. The guidance should explicitly prohibit any policy designed as an alternative to the sex-based policies necessary for safeguarding girls. This includes mixed-sex provision alongside single-sex provision as a way of getting round sex-based rules that keep girls safe. The updated draft guidance includes the Equality Act Section 195 on sports exception, which allows competitive sport to be single-sex with regard to both the safety of competitors and for fair competition. But in the updated guidance, it inexplicably omits the fair competition bit. And on this basis, it prohibits mixed-sex competition where girls are put at risk of physical injury, but it otherwise allows schools to admit boys into girls' sports. It relegates fairness as an optional principle for girls' sport. Girls have the same right to fairness in sport as boys do, and to provide fair sport for boys, but actively instigate unfair competition for girls is discrimination. It advantages boys by disadvantaging girls. A school policy that protects boys' sports but does not protect girls' sports sends a clear message to children in their formative years that women's sport is not important, and by extension, women and girls don't matter. It does not encourage boys to respect girls, no matter how many lectures on misogyny they get. The guidance should be clarifying that for sex-based provisions, the risks, safeguarding risks and disadvantages accrue disproportionately for girls. In every case in the school's guidance where safeguarding of girls is undermined, it is because of policies of social transition. It is very clear trans-inclusive policies in schools undermine child safeguarding. There are 2 legal cases going on at the moment against schools, one in Brighton and one in all-girls school. And the parents found out about both cases by listening to their daughters' conversations. The biggest concern is that the girls themselves didn't realise that anything was wrong. They knew that the girls were really boys, but this is their new normal. It's all they know, and they don't understand that their rights are being breached and their boundaries violated. So the updated guidance appears cautious, but it actively allows loopholes in safeguarding. Our message to Bridget Phillipson is implement the Supreme Court judgment and use it in proper, updated safeguarding guidance for schools.
Thank you, Stephanie. Our next speaker is the founder of Evidence-Based Autism, which is the only organisation dedicated to promoting the safeguarding of autistic children identifying away from their sex. And she also wrote Transgender Trends Report on Autism and Gender Identity. And she's going to be speaking about why it's so important for autistic women and girls to have access to single-sex spaces. Janie Galloway!
Yay! Hello. Okay, as the politicians like to say, let me be clear. Autistic women and girls are protected under the Equality Act on the basis of our sex and on the basis that we are disabled. And the Supreme Court, thanks to Women Scotland, made clear that that means females. And this is why it matters. 90%, 90, of autistic women have experienced sexual assault or rape. Yet this Labour government refuses to give us the single-sex spaces and shelters that we need to recover. 70% of autistic women have experienced domestic violence. Yet this Labour government refuses to give us the single-sex domestic violence shelters that we need to recover. I don't know the number of autistic women in the female prison estate because the Ministry of Justice doesn't collect the data, but it's estimated to be up to as many as 11%. Autistic women in prison are incredibly vulnerable to exploitation, intimidation, and suffering with extreme anxiety. Yet this Labour government and the government in Scotland refuse to give us the single-sex prisons that we need to serve our time. Autistic women, up to 32% of us, are hospitalised under the Mental Health Act for an average of 5 years by the time we are 25. I'll give you an example. Littlebrook Hospital in Dartford have been reported for placing patients, mostly young autistic women, in mixed-sex or male wards where they are assaulted by patients and staff. Over a 3-year period, there were 24 rapes and 18 sexual assaults. Yet this Labour government refuses to give us the single-sex wards that we need to recover. 64% of autistic women have additional disabilities, chronic illnesses, or are learning disabled. Yet this Labour government refuses to allow us the guarantee of single-sex carers when we are at our most vulnerable. Sport is vital for autistic women to find peer groups and acceptance. Yet Caris Vaughan, a young autistic woman, was banned by the FA for 6 matches for asking a competitor on a women's team with a beard, "Are you a man?" And yet this Labour government refuses to mandate the law that will let us play single-sex sports safely. The government are bringing in SEND reforms that will further damage the life chances of autistic girls, while continuing to allow schools to have mixed-sex toilets and changing areas, putting our girls at risk and allowing them to continue to try and escape the fate that awaits them by telling the world that they are boys. In the last year, the government have told us, we don't need EHCPs, we don't need employment support allowance, we don't need PIP, and we're all overdiagnosed anyway. So Keir Starmer, Bridget Phillipson, Wes Streeting, you are breaching our rights as disabled women, and you are hiding behind the metaphorical skirts of the EHRC as if this somehow magically changes the law. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what you believe. What matters is what the law says. And the law says that women are a discrete biological sex class, and autistic women and girls have a legal right to be protected in law. So do your jobs and mandate the Supreme Court ruling now.
Thank you, Janie. Our next speaker is one of the organisers of this amazing event, and she's also a women's rights campaigner,
from No Men in Women's Prisons, that fantastic organisation that have maintained their protests up and down the country over these past years. Absolutely phenomenal. And she's also just told me that apparently the first thing I ever said to her, I shouldn't be telling you this, the first thing I ever said to her was, "Can you get out of the way, please?" So shame on me. Should be the other way around. I'll stand aside for the one and only Judith Wright.
Oh, thank you. So a bit of an update on prisons since the demo in November. We believe that there is still at least one man in Newhall, but his name or their names have not been made public. Just heard that you might have seen these reports of Oreen Makepeace, who is a bloke who says he's a woman, murderer. We've now had it confirmed that he is in Style Prison, Style Women's Prison. We also know that Michael Jameson, aka Lauren Jeska, is still in Askham Grange. We don't have his picture today. He's delighting people at the Sunderland demo. He was convicted of attempted murder by stabbing and 2 counts of actual bodily harm. Okay, this despicable creep, paedophile John Dixon, he's still in Bronzefield Women's Prison. He was convicted of 30 counts of sexually abusing 7 children. Okay, we also know that in Downview Prison there is Kyle Watts. Kyle Watts, he is in E-Wing, which houses men who impersonate women. Watts was convicted of firearms offences, including attempting to make a semi-automatic rifle. He's recently been joined in Downview by this one. Hold them all up. Got to work. Thank you. Vivian Taylor, not his real name, convicted of stalking and harassing a woman over 4 years. Labour government ministers are still saying that E-Wing in Downview is not part of the women's estate, and they think we're stupid enough to believe them. Okay. We know that it is all run, this is Downview, as one prison, and that the men mix with women. At the last count, there were 7 men in E-Wing. We only know the names of Taylor and Watts. The public are entitled to know the names of all the men who are in all women's prisons and where they all are. Yes. We need to know why the government inflicts this horrendous punishment on women prisoners, and when all these men will be moved out of the women's estate. For more details, can you please follow us on X at NoMInW Prisons? And just a call out as well to Rebecca Paul MP. She's worth following on this issue because she's done a lot of really sterling work.
Yes, she has. Brilliant woman.
Please ask your own MP to raise urgent questions with government ministers. Okay, you can try. Any bloke who wants to go into a women's prison is telling you in no uncertain terms that he is a danger to women. We couldn't care less if these men are considered special and vulnerable. Our message to the government is clear. Deal with them and all their problems in men's prisons. Keep prisons single sex. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Judith. And next up, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome one of the splendid young women who this year co-founded the Cambridge University Society of Women. I think we were all, it gave us all such a shot in the arm, didn't it? Absolutely fantastic. And can I also say
I'm going to give her the microphone next year. Ladies and gentlemen, Maeve Halligan.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's like a festival. Hello, Whitehall. Thank you so much to all of the organisers for having all of us in, sorting this all out, and for asking me to speak. It's a real pleasure and a privilege. I'm going to try and shout over those crazies over there. Basically, as some of you may know, myself and two of my close friends, one of whom is here, Thea Sewell, and our third co-founder, Serena Worley, decided to set up, which to my knowledge is still the only society at a UK university that is openly and proudly single-sex and deals with women's issues and causes. Thank you. We worked together, and we couldn't have done it without one another, but there were so many forces acting against us, not least the university itself, especially the student union, but more disappointingly, the student body. And within that, and I hate to have to say this, the majority of our main haters, if you like, were young women themselves. It's extremely disappointing, and I don't want to have to stand here and condemn my peers, but the unfortunate reality of the matter is that this ideology is most likely in many senses to capture the minds of young women because it preys on empathy, it preys on a misguided kindness, and unfortunately, at the worst possible stage, it preys on those women's difficulty accepting their own body, and they decide to present as men. This is an outrage, and I cannot believe that my peers are the ones that are also attacking and challenging the society of women. This makes me, of course, is a cause that's extremely emotional, and it's close to all of our hearts, whether we're women or not. There are many men here, hello. But the fact of the matter is that being a gender-critical young woman is extremely difficult because people who look like you, people of your age, other women who, may have used to have been your friend, are condemning you for saying something that, for many women is simply a fact of common sense. The reality is with CUSW is that we have had an amazing series of events, and we've been honoured to host some excellent guest speakers. We're running campaigns. We've started a Substack. Our membership is growing rapidly. I'm massively appreciative of all the support, especially from the Women's Rights Network and similar groups. We've been extremely privileged to raise an amount of money that means that we can basically operate pretty autonomously and do what we want within a university that has tried to push us back at every turn. Of course, this isn't just a question of women's rights, it's also a question of free speech, which for a long time now has been under attack at UK universities. The Higher Education Free Speech Act was passed, and in it, it's important to recognise, it says that universities have a duty not just to allow free speech, but to actively promote it. And the unfortunate thing is that CUSW is living proof of the fact that universities are failing, and they are especially failing young women. I mean, I'm extremely optimistic about the future of this movement, and I'm not going to apologise on behalf of young women, but I do recognise that up until now, there has been some really, really disappointing behaviour from young women. And all I ask, I'll end on this, is that you do not give up on us. Keep talking to your daughters, your nieces, keep teaching, talk to every young woman that you know. I don't believe in calling any young woman a lost cause, and I never will, even when they're calling me backwards, bigot, fascist, TERF. I will never ever give up on any young women, and I don't want you to either. Thank you.
Brilliant, Maeve. The future is Maeve and her friends. The future is female. Next up, we have another powerful voice. The next speaker is going to be speaking on behalf of Lesbian Labour. Put your hands together for Carol and Harrod.
Right, we'd like to thank For Women Scotland, but we also want to thank the lesbian interveners for their submission to the Supreme Court, which was vitally important to us lesbians and must not be forgotten or ignored. Lesbian Labour were assisting the Supreme Court interveners at the beginning by providing evidence of lesbian lives and examples of the loss of our culture and community by interviewing lesbians from across the UK. We were clear that lesbians were same-sex attracted females like ourselves, and over the last 2 decades, our right to meet together as lesbians had often been denied. Some of us were outside the Supreme Court on the 16th of April last year and celebrated the judgment that clarified a biological woman was real in fact and law. The redefining of the word lesbians to mean a same-sex, a female, and with rights of association. We never anticipated the attempts by so many public services and other institutions to either deny the judgment altogether or to say they couldn't implement it without guidance. Nor did we anticipate the government itself would want to dissect the judgment of the highest court in the land. And yet here we are, nearly a year later, with lesbians still denied their own spaces, often funding from the public purse because we've been excluded from the misuse of the criteria of inclusion. We have been exasperated with one delay after another by the Minister for Women and Equalities, which has allowed so many public services and institutions to break the law by ignoring the judgment. The fact that this is a Labour government is shameful to us. We have written to Bridget Phillipson numerous times, as we have to the other ministers in the Women and Equalities team. We met Baroness Jackie Smith to tell her in person that women were waiting for this government to uphold the law and publish the guidance without delay. We have met MPs and peers, and like the rest of you, written to our MPs and turned up at their surgeries. What will it take for more of them to speak out? Finally, I'd say, as Emily Pankhurst said back in 1903, what matters is deeds, not words. And that is exactly what lesbians need urgently, the upholding of our rights in fact and in law, because currently it feels like we won nothing last year and our rights are still eroded and our lives erased. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carol. And our next speaker, some of you might recognise, is a content creator and campaigner who is on a mission to peak the world and bring this gender madness to an end with his reports, his interviews, and we just might be lucky later on to hear a few of his songs. Mr. Menno.
Thank you all for coming today. It's a great crowd, and thank you, of course, to For Women Scotland, to the Lesbian Project, LGBT Alliance, and Sex Matters. What a ruling that was. I was in that room over there. I'll call it a room, is that disrespectful? And for them to say those words meant so much. I was looking over to Susan and Marion, and when this man, Lord Hodge, said sex means biological sex, I could see Susan, her shoulders started shaking, and I can't imagine what stress they've been under for what, 5-6 years, and it just goes on and on and on. We always ask ourselves how much, what will it take? And it's also gay men that have to step up and say, this is our ruling that protects our rights as gay men, and it protects our spaces. So I'm currently involved in a case as a co-claimant where a bunch of gay guys was rejected service at a pub in Brighton. But you know what? I don't even think that those people that were sort of up against don't understand the law. I think they know, they just don't give a shit. They don't give a shit, and they try to take it as far as they can. So we put in a court claim. We try to settle with them because the court system is set up in a way that first you have to try and settle, you have to be reasonable with your demands. So we tried that. That didn't work. We filed a court claim. They had 28 days to respond. It's now been 70 days. So there'll be a stage 2, obviously. But again, they just don't give a toss. They just think that either we're bluffing or we don't care or we don't have the guts to go and take it further. The other thing is, last year I went to a men-only event. Now, we're not talking about a Sandy Peggy situation here. It's a slightly different, you know, more gay male kind of event. but it's still a single-sex event. And I didn't struggle for years and years to accept myself coming to terms being a male homosexual, to be sold a woman as a man in a rather intimate situation in the forest where I've now seen a phalloplasty in the flesh. Lovely. So I approached them, and I want to say a big thank you to Maya and Helen, particularly from Sex Matters, because they were absolutely fantastic. Because I saw Maya the Wednesday after I got back. I left early, but also what I noticed, but also I had no idea that this place was going to be like that. I thought it was one of the very last few places that was just normal. There were no rainbows, no weird inclusive language, none of that stuff. So then to go there and to have this woman, and she was, I think, in her late 50s, early 60s, and she'd only had it done the year before. But the entitlement that she had to be there, right? But what I took more issue with were the organizers, because they're two gay men. They're gay men and they're making money, and they would rather prioritize one woman like her, because she's a regular there, than actual gay men. And this is a conscious decision that they make. So I told Maya about it, and I tried to do it in a polite sort of, you know, I very much respect Maya. I didn't want to say anything rude. And I said, I just want my money back. And she's like, well, actually, her and Helen had some other ideas. So that was Wednesday evening. Friday, she sent me an email with a letter before action that made me shit my pants. And I was like, oh, okay, they mean business. So basically, I settled with these people, right? It took a while. They tried to play games. Suddenly they went all quiet. So I also had to file a court order to get them to actually settle. Afterwards, they changed their T's and C's. So now it says on their website that their service and then their weekends away is for men only. In line with the Equality Act. And then they use the single-sex exemptions to exclude people. In the same paragraph, and this is after my legal action against them that they did this, in the same paragraph it then said, men only, yeah! That means anyone who lives or identifies as a man. But we got a good letter out of it, and it worked in another situation where a gay man was kicked out, frog marched out of his LGBT whatever rugby club for the wrong beliefs. So he approached them with that same letter. He settled as well. But this is not enough, because they don't care. They don't change their ways. Now, the gay business world, if you like, I imagine, is quite small, so the jungle drum must be quite loud. So gay men in the audience here, we must all take these things on. We must all take them to court, because we're going to have to take him back to reality, kicking and screaming. So that's what we're going to do. And thank you.
Thank you, Menno. Now, I must confess, I've got no idea who this next speaker is. Never seen her before in my life. Apparently she won some kind of legal case a few years ago. I don't know, some of you might be aware of that. No, not at all. Maybe more than anyone. Maya's victory in that. And I can only imagine what it cost her over those years that she was fighting it. But we will never know the impact of that victory. And I know on a personal level, that ruling has served me in my 2 work contexts. I've used that. And I'm sure there are so many of us here who've been able to use that. And it's made a material difference in introducing fairness and justice within our employment rights. So let's give a big cheer. CEO of Sex Matters, Maya Forstater.
Thank you, Julia. So I'm going to read out a letter. This letter is being read out right now in Edinburgh, in Manchester, in Cardiff, in Belfast, and in Sunderland. It's a letter that we sent to Keir Starmer this week from For Women Scotland, from Sex Matters, from the Lesbian Interveners, and from about 25 other different groups. We sent
We sent Keir Starmer this. This is a little booklet we're publishing. It's going to go to every MP and every working peer, and it tells the stories of the harm that is being done to women because the government is not acting following the Supreme Court judgment. So I'm just going to read out the letter. Dear Prime Minister, it is almost a year since the Supreme Court confirmed that the terms man and woman in the Equality Act carry their ordinary biological meaning. The court said that any alternative interpretation would turn the definition of sex on its head and diminish protections against sex discrimination. Yet a year on, women are still waiting. We are still waiting for Bridget Phillipson to lay the Equality and Human Rights Commission's Code of Practice before Parliament. We're still waiting for the Cabinet Office to withdraw its policy that tells civil servants that refusing to accept an individual's gender identity is unlawful discrimination. It's not. We have the law here, not Stonewall law. Yay! And we are still waiting for government departments, local authorities, NHS bodies, regulators and charities to bring their own policies in line with the law. The continued failure to act is causing real and damaging consequences for women and girls. Public servants are being labelled transphobic just for doing their job. NHS staff like Sandy Peggy and like the Darlington nurses are denied basic standards of dignity and safety at work. Ordinary women like Miranda Newsom from Southwark, who's here, are denied single-sex services from gym changing rooms to rape crisis counselling. Girls are missing opportunities to participate in single-sex activities like the boxing training that the King's Trust charity shamefully cancelled rather than following the law and keeping it single-sex. As we heard, women in prison continue to face the presence of male prisoners in the female estate and in probation hostels. And lesbians continue to face exclusion from venues, associations and charities because they don't think men can be lesbians. I'm really pleased to be shouting this out in Whitehall today. Civil servants are required by the Nolan Principles to act with objectivity. This means acting with impartiality and following the evidence. But it says, in the words of the Nolan Principles, without bias and discrimination, which is right. But the word discrimination has been misunderstood across government, and so it has corrupted government decision-making up and down this street. Yeah. Public authorities and regulators are exposing themselves to legal liability, and we will make sure that that legal liability comes. Woo! And they are creating uncertainty for employers, for service providers and the public. The lack of clarity is harmful for everyone, but most especially for women and girls. But it's also harmful for people who identify as transgender because they think they have rights which they do not have. This government has stated that violence against women and girls is a national emergency, and that tackling it is a test of our values. That commitment must be reflected in the consistent application of the law that underpins women's privacy, dignity, and safety. Ordinary women standing up for themselves last year did an amazing thing. That was For Women Scotland, the Lesbian Intervenors and Sex Matters, but everyone who stood behind us. We all won back clarity about the law. But now this government must act with leadership. It must act now. So what we've asked in the letter is for Bridget Phillipson to produce the guidance. And Keir Starmer to tell civil servants to follow the law. Because women won't wait. Yours sincerely. There are some flyers around with a QR code. Grab one or go on Sex Matters website, write to your MP, basically send them the same letter, send them the brochure. We'll just keep telling them that this is about women's rights and protecting women and girls.
Thank you, Maya. Brilliant. So our next extraordinarily impressive speaker was the skipper of the first all-female crew to sail around the world. Really, we are not worthy. And along with the wonderful Sharon Davis, is the co-founder of the Women's Sports Union. Ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Edwards, MBN.
Sorry, I thought I was after Rosie, so I was having a quick vape behind the statue. Don't tell anyone. Sharon asked me to pass on a message to you today. She really wanted to be here, but she can't because she drew the short straw. She's back compiling a lot of information about a lot of sports governing bodies that are not following the law, because next week we meet with our pro bono solicitors. Oh yeah. And we're going to start getting very legal with people who are not complying with the law in sport. So after my message from Sharon, I find myself sandwiched between my heroines of the fight, the women's fight for equality again, after 100 years after thinking we'd won it the first time. I find myself sandwiched between my heroines and the pub. I think you're all waiting to go to the pub, so I will be very quick. I was trying to think of a way to express my disgust and my contempt for the people in power who have so easily given away our rights without asking us, without consulting us. Oh, men, you want something? Absolutely. Here you go. It's all yours. I'm sure women won't mind. I'm sure they'll be kind. I'm sure they'll let you have them. Which muppet thought the women were going to let men have our rights? I understand misogynistic males. I understand the guys over there shouting because, you know, it gives them a good excuse to attack women. I get that. I understand it. It's easy to understand. I don't understand the women. I don't understand the handmaids who would rather live for the rest of their lives on their knees. I don't get that. There are so many women at the top of sports governing bodies at the moment who are such a huge disappointment to me. Okay, it's taken me a while to stand up, but, you know, I had a boat maiden to run and other things to do. But, you know, people like Megan Rapinoe, I find just, what a disappointment. Billie Jean King, all of these women who made their name because of women's sports, because of the female category, now happily throwing women under the bus. It is so difficult not to be consumed by rage when you think about everything that's been taken away from us. And also the fact that this is not by accident. This isn't an accident this has happened. This is all by design. Everything that's happening to us is by design. It's a plan. Never were the rights of so many taken by so few.
Yes.
We all said at the beginning of this ridiculous fight that sport would be the thing, the first domino that would fall. And we were right. You know, you just look at men and women, the difference of men and women in sport is such a visual thing. You look at the power and the strength of the men, the size differences, you know, it's easy to see the comparison. So we knew sport would be probably the first thing that fell, and so it is. And okay, yes, sports is returning to where we were 20 years ago. We haven't taken a step forward. We haven't gone any further forward. Okay, the IOC has announced that there will now be sex testing to protect the female category. Yes. Finally. But that's the top 1%. That's the top 1% of women in sport. What about women at the grassroots level? How do we get the top 1% if we don't have women's sport protected at the grassroots level? What about women's recreational sport? What about parkrun? Bloody parkrun. Oh, God. What about girls' sports in schools where boys are playing against girls in school? What's that telling girls in school? You're not worth anything. You're just a girl. You can't have your own stuff. Why would you think you can have your own stuff? There are 3 people who didn't cause this, admittedly, although I would like to blame them for everything that's wrong with me at the moment, including my gammy knee. There are 3 people who didn't cause this, but could have sorted this out by now if they just grew a spine. Keir Starmer. Shame. Bridget Phillipson. Shame. Lisa Nandy. Shame. Why? Why are you shirking your responsibility to us, to 51% of the population? On the 7th of May, I sincerely hope you find out how we all feel about this.
Yes.
But we have 3 better people on our side. We have 3 amazing women. Susan, Trina, and Marion. Yay! 3 women who are worth more than the entire cabinet from what I can see at the moment. They took the fight to the top with Sex Matters and lesbian interveners, and they have given us the legal tools that we need for the next part of the fight. And my final word is for mainstream media. Please, please, for the love of sanity, please start getting your facts right. We forgive the fact you didn't know before, but now you must know. So stop, headlines like trans women banned from the Olympics. Men banned from the women's category. It's not hard. Caster Semenya is not a her. He is a man.
It's a man.
Mainstream media, please learn all of these things before you interview the next simpering male in a dress. Some mediocre male who now can't play the sport he wants to play against women. Interview the women. Interview the women that had their sports taken away. I can't remember the last time I had a conversation with a normie. You know normies? Those people that have not a clue what's going on. Sorry, dry mouth. I don't have a hangover, I promise you. That didn't agree with me, because when you tell them, they say, oh, isn't it awful that a trans woman's been banned from sport? No, men. Oh, but isn't a trans woman a type of woman? No, no. We've got to start getting the language right. And finally, I promise we're nearly at the pub, I promise you. From Sharon and myself to all the sports governing bodies, to Active UK, UK Sport and Parkrun, we are coming for you. finally, before I allow Rosie to come on and speak, I'd like us all, in the time-honoured tradition, to say thank you to For Women Scotland. 3 cheers. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Onwards!
Amazing. Thank you, Tracy. Well, she's giving the game away as to who our final speaker is. So I would just say, we don't have too many friends over in that building over there, but we do have a few. And I always think it's quality and not quantity, sometimes anyway. And I am absolutely thrilled to introduce one of the most steadfast ones that we've been able to count on. And she's showing that today by turning up here to speak to all of us, the independent MP for Canterbury, Rosie Duffield.
We just hold it like that?
Near your mouth.
Wow. Well, we're on this side.
Close to your mouth.
Like that?
Yeah.
Is that better? Yeah. Okay. I entered Parliament nearly a decade ago as a feminist, but I didn't think that I would have to fight for things like loos that only women could go in. And on our side, just looking at these banners, thank you, by the way, for all these brilliant people that have organised today. And I just sort of slunk along at the last minute. And obviously For Women Scotland and Sex Matters and all the amazing people that have put us here. But I'm looking at our banners and they say things like NHS, obey the law, the Emperor has no clothes, autistic girls deserve single-sex spaces, keep men out of women's changing room. And some of the banners on the other side say things like J.K. Rowling, a misogynist, a hypocrite, a fascist, a cunt.
Charming.
And that's their argument. Sorry for the language, but that's what we're looking at. And those people there, they keep shouting trans rights are humans' rights. What rights don't they have? What rights are they fighting for? Those guys who sometimes decide that they want to be a woman on one day or the next day they're back to being a man again. They want to be able to compete against us in sport. They want to be able to use rape centres for women. They want to be able to impinge on our boardroom places and all of those things. And we're just saying no, basically. Yeah. Let's keep saying no. I'm going to keep fighting in Parliament as long as I'm allowed to be there. Please be aware of some of the other parties that want to take... I mean, it's awful what Labour are doing, really awful. But please be aware of the Greens creeping their agenda forward as well. There are some brilliant people, even Emma here, who fought for her right as a woman in the Green Party. It's even worse for the SNP and women in other parties. So please carry on what you're doing. And yes, write to your MP, but ask to see them face to face in a surgery and ask them, which rights do you not want us to have? What rights do trans people need? Why do they need to be in our changing rooms? And see if they can answer. And keep, Keir's going to go soon. So that's, but please be careful of the next ones. Don't take your eye off the ball. Thank you to all of you for keeping on going. And, you really helped me an awful lot in that horrible, lonely building. So thank you very much.
Okay, so that is it with the speeches. But don't go away. It just remains for me to say a massive thank you to the organisers of this absolutely magnificent event. Again, can we do it 3 cheers? Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Absolutely fantastic organising, from the birth of a baby dinosaur to negotiating all of this aggression and horrible stuff, and coordinating and keeping us all on track. They've been absolutely phenomenal. I really can't thank them enough. And so, to end on a celebratory note, We know everyone likes a sing song. You've definitely had enough of my voice, but we're gonna end with a little party which we'd love you all to join in. There should be some lyrics going round. Menno, are you? Yeah. There should be some lyrics going round, but you don't really need them. I think we all know the chorus. So, do we need the thing? Is it all used? Oh, I don't know. Let me try to run that again.
That one?
What?
Stop that one. Call it to the mic. Menno. Had 650 at most.
Wow, wicked. Fantastic.
Yeah. It started about 400.
And then
by the end of it, nearly 700.
well, the speeches obviously are going to probably go away, have some lunch and come back.
Yeah.
I love these.
So does it stop and restart, or does it concatenate it? When you stop it, does it stop?
It's
And
a new one.
it's new.
Like I've done 3, so it was like trans, people talk, then the march, then speeches.
Is it? Yes, yes. Right, I think you know this first one.
Which one? What's the time?
This song is for the guys over there.
Oh, absolutely. You could do mini versions. Oh, fucking hell!
Oh, no, I heard the crack as well.
Still seems to be on.
The crack, did I hear this?
It's still on.
I knew that was something.
Careful with this one, yeah. Can you announce the title so we know which one?
Every guy say, yes, yes, everything's fine, no worries. Right, so one day I was in a waiting room, I was on my own, and then somebody walked in and I only saw them from the corner of my eye. And I saw long legs, a tiny skirt, stripper high heels, a women's jacket, long fake blonde hair. It's amazing what you can register just in a split second, right? And then, for some reason, my brain went, men. And I just went, how do I know this, right? Because they keep telling us, you can't tell. And then this line came into my head that just went, I guess it must be that Y chromosome, right? So that's how this came about. Now, the magic word in this song is the word woman. So whenever I go, I want you to go. Is it? Am I working? Yeah. Okay. So when I do that, you do woman, right? Right. Okay. Are we set?
I don't know.
Otherwise, we can just do it without the music. Yeah, we have music. There you go. Oh. Why do you think that you pass? I said. Okay, hold on. Right. Okay, I'm going to do it without the microphone, which means I need you to join in even more. Okay, let's go for it.
Do you want the light, Hailer?
Young man, and you need smoking grass. I said, young man, you're important because you're meant for me and woman. Young man, so you're wearing the grass. I said, young man, lucky orange and grass. I said, young man, everybody can guess that you're not an actual woman. I guess it must be that Y chromosome. Can't get away from that Y chromosome. Y chromosome. You're male because of that Y chromosome. Oh man, do you like sissy porn? I said, oh man, wish you were female born. I said, oh man, cause it gives you the horn when you yourself a woman. Oh man, are you listening to me? I said, no man, contains sex and you see it's a woman. Even without no keys, you will turn be a woman. Why chromosome? Why chromosome? Why chromosome? Why chromosome?